There's a lot of legal situations that get portrayed in movies and on TV. But as a trial attorney, it's hard to watch it and not think to yourself, what is real and what isn't? So let's take a look at the movie from 2017, Marshall, on their jury selection scene and see what's accurate.
Jury selection, gentlemen. Clerk, call the first veneer person.
Lester Gilman of Norwalk.
Mr. Gilman. Mr. Gilman. In this case, a colored man is accused of raping a white woman. Could you be fair in deciding such a case?
I think so.
Let's pause right here. So depending on the state that you are in, you're not always allowed to ask the juror questions. In the state of New Jersey, which where we primarily practice, the lawyer is not allowed to talk directly to the prospective jurors. The judge is the one that will ask the questions, and we sit there and listen. In other states, like Pennsylvania, the attorneys are allowed to ask the prospective jurors questions. So it really depends on the jurisdiction.
I'll be honest with you. I don't like the colored. Seems to me they're always getting into some sort of trouble. I don't think much of Hebrews either.
Excuse me?
Well, you're one of them. I figured.
Thank you for your candor, Mr. Wright. No further questions.
Excuse for cause.
Counselor?
Your Honor, we move to have Mr. Wright excused for cause.
On what grounds?
I know. He just admitted he's biased.
Mr. Wright, you're a law-abiding citizen, wouldn't you say?
That's right, Your Honor.
If I instructed you that the law requires that you set aside your bias, would you obey my instruction?
Guess I'd have to.
The challenge for cause is overruled. You may use a peremptory challenge.
Your Honor, with all due respect...
I've made my ruling.
Excused.
All right, pause it right there. So what's going on here, somewhat accurate. In every single jury selection, both sides are given a certain number of peremptory challenges, meaning if there's some reason they do not think that juror would be a good juror for the case, they can use their own challenge. Depending on the amount of parties in the case will vary on how many challenges you actually get. But once you run out of challenges, you can't challenge any more jurors. You can't excuse any more jurors. So what this lawyer is trying to do is saying, I don't want to use one of my challenges. I think that this juror should be stricken for cause. He should be excused because he has bias. Well, the judge may say, could you put aside your personal biases and apply the law as it's given to you? And if the juror says yes, and the judge is satisfied with that answer, he may turn to the attorneys and say, I'm not going to excuse this juror with cause, but you can feel free to use a peremptory challenge. So the lawyer is trying to save his challenges. You don't want to have to waste a challenge on a clearly biased prospective juror.
Mr. Ellis, you agree, do you not, that as a colored man, you could not fairly pass judgment on Mr. Spell?
No, sir.
You agree you could not be fair?
No, what I mean is, yes, if he's guilty, I'd have to convict him.
I'll use a challenge.
Object. On my base, just do it.
Your Honor, I object.
Grounds?
You can't use the challenge to
You can't use the challenge to discredit.
I heard that, Mr. Marshall. It's a peremptory challenge, Mr. Friedman. The state may use it for whatever reason it wants. Mr. Willis, you have 4 left. The defense has 1.
What's the point of that? Every single time they discriminate, we're going to object. Recognize it now.
Clearly, this movie is depicting something that happened a long time ago, because in the 80s, a new law was passed, and it's referred to as a Batson challenge, which means that you can challenge another lawyer's peremptory challenge of a prospective juror if you feel it's based on race, ethnicity, or gender. What that means is lawyers are no longer allowed to strike a prospective juror simply because of their race, or simply because of their ethnicity, or simply because of their gender. And if they do, the defendant or the plaintiff or whoever is making that objection could be entitled to a new trial, and the lawyer who did that could also be punished. So this actually was pretty accurate in terms of a voir dire, which is what they call a jury selection. Now, thankfully, this occurred a long time ago, so some of those laws have changed and things have improved. But overall, this trial lawyers react pretty accurate. If you like what you see, you want to see some more, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.